Well, my name is Ronald Scott Bezanson. When I came to Aurora, most people knew me as Scotty because I was junior and Mother didn't want me called Junior. So Scott being my middle name, I became Scotty, and most of my college friends know me as Scotty. I came from Southern California. When I was a junior in high school, my dad took the pastorate in Los Angeles. He had previously been pastor in Portland, Maine. So in the summer of '52, we moved from Maine to California. When I graduated from Benjamin Franklin High School in Highland Park, California, I determined that I was coming to Aurora College because, number one, it was our church college. Number two, I was leaning toward becoming a pastor, as was my dad, as was my granddad before. I lived in the dormitory, shared a room with two other folks. One of my roommates came from Wisconsin, one came from Maine, and I came in from Southern California. We were on the third floor of Davis Hall. Davis Hall at one time had been the girls' dorm. But at that time frame, there were more women than there were men, so they switched dorms, and the women went to Wilkinson Hall, and the men went to Davis Hall. Then the next year, Memorial Hall came online, so the gals moved into Memorial Hall. It had new facilities, and the men stayed in Davis Hall. Eckerd Hall languished for a while, and I think eventually became offices, from what I was told. And the men stayed in Davis Hall until Jenks Hall was built. And Jenks Hall, as I recall, at least initially, was only 2 stories high. And my senior year, I had a room on the second floor of Jenks Hall. Met my wife at Aurora my second year. I was a sophomore, and she was the little sister of my roommate. My roommate was David Arthur, who became professor of history at Aurora for many years. And she was Mary Jo Arthur, and she came off to school in 1955. We were engaged in 1957, and we married in 1958. Living in Davis Hall was an experience. College dormitories were much different in those years than they have been in subsequent times. Of course, the costs were far less, too. I can remember that during those early years, board and room, including seven days, 3 meals a day, was only $15.75. Of that, the room, I think, was the $5 1/4, and the meals were $10.50. Aurora during those years was set up for folks like me that had to work their way through, so that all of our classes were in the morning, except for lab classes, and some of those spilled into the afternoon or into the evening even. But we went to school from 7:30 in the morning until noon, and then we were free to work if we were so inclined. And most everybody worked in that time frame, even some of those that didn't really have to work would work because there wasn't anything else to do. And rather than being bored, they went with everybody else and found jobs. The town of Aurora was different in those days in that it was a major manufacturing town, and there was a number of companies. Barbara Green was active at that time, and All Steel. I worked for All Steel for 3 years. Equipto, and there were 2 or 3 others whose names escape me that hired a number of the college kids. One of the printers in town, Strathmore, hired a lot of college kids. You know, it came to the place, you know, after you had been around the campus for a couple, 3 years, that the professors were professors, yes, but they were also friends. And I kept close touch with Moses Krause as long as he was living, and with Asa Colby as long as he was living, with Roy Cruz as long as he was living, Gerald Richardson. We had students coming to Aurora largely through the church connection from all over the country. And I thought that that was beneficial.